Hello, friends. Welcome back to a Gecko's Gaming video. Today, I'm coming at you from a little bit of a different angle. I usually play a lot of Timeless, maybe some Limited here and there. Today, I'm playing Explorer, which is the MTG Arena analog to Pioneer. And yeah, this deck, this Demons deck, is super, super sick. I love this deck. And this deck single handedly pulled me into Pioneer right now. So I just love this style of deck. I'm a big fan of Timeless. I'm still gonna make more Timeless videos. I have a few new pieces of tech coming out for Esper Frog and for Rakdos Rescaminator. But yeah, for now, this is what I'm gonna be focusing on. This deck is a classic attrition style mono black deck, and those are a style of deck that I really love. So the idea is like you trade off early on with a ton of like you got 8 1 mana discard spells, Thoughtseize and Duress. And so you just disrupt the opponent early on, throw them off balance, don't let them do their plan. And then you just sort of thrive in an environment where you're trading off and you basically just kneecap the opponent by playing a bunch of one for ones. And then you just kind of set up a situation where neither player really has any cards or much going on, and they can't really put together their synergy and stuff like that. And then you just play cards that are good in that kind of environment where both players are top decking, and so you have a lot of good utility lands. And but what's awesome about this deck, in addition to the classic attrition style gameplay, is that you have a Unstoppable Slasher and Bloodletter of Aclazotz. So Unstoppable Slasher is itself incredible in this deck because think about it. If you're trading off resources, you're not going to be at the same time pressuring them early on with like a 1 mana, 2 mana creature that's going to add damage up to the point where um, their life total is threatened. So like Unstoppable Slasher comes in, it's a threat all by itself. They could be at 30 life and be out of cards, and I put this down, and they're terrified because they're going to die really soon. It doesn't matter what their life is at. It's a card that's individually powerful all by itself and can close out a game when the opponent is low on resources and knocked off balance. And oftentimes, what you do, I have the two extra discard spells, the Deep Cavern Bat in the main. So oftentimes, I can like turn one Duress, turn two like another discard spell or maybe two discard spells, turn three Slasher, and that oftentimes is just enough to get there on its own. Um, and then other than that, you also have the Bloodletter of Aclazotz, which um, the Unstoppable Slasher takes away half their life when it hits them. The Bloodletter, if you have this out, it's their whole life, so it's an instant kill. Um, as long as you can get through with the Slasher and you have Bloodletter out. So that's a very scary thing that the opponent has to be always concerned about. Um, and usually you don't want to trade with the Slasher because it just comes back anyways. But if you play this on turn three, the opponent's looking at that and they're going like, okay, like I should probably just like remove this thing, otherwise I could die from Bloodletter, or just take, or like the floor is like they just lose half their life even if you don't have Bloodletter, so it's still good on its own. Um, and then other than that, the yeah, so this deck just is designed to trade off and thrive in a low resource environment. And then it's a Demon's deck because of Unholy Annex. This card is insane. Um, it's like a Phyrexian Arena, but with a ton of upside. So you get to draw a card every turn, and if you don't have a demon, you lose 2 life. But if you do have a demon, then you literally drain the opponent for 2, which is a huge swing each turn. And so this really drives you a lot of card advantage with this, and then you can pay 5 to put a 6/6 flying demon onto battlefield also. Um, yeah, so and then you have Mutavaults in here too, which is it becomes a demon. So when you have Mutavault plus Unholy Annex, you're draining each turn, and it only costs 1 to put it in. And it's pretty evasive. It's hard to remove the Mutavault um, for the opponent, so you can drain them out pretty quick with this. And then of course, if you have Bloodletter out, it just gets crazy because you're doing 4 damage a turn. They die really fast from the Annex. But you gotta be careful with this because you can die with it too. Um, and let's see what else. What else is there to mention in this deck? The Invoke Despairs, another really great spell for attrition style gameplay. It's always going to be a 3 for 1, and you can remove planeswalkers and enchantments, which is really big game for a black deck that tends to struggle, especially with enchantments. And then the Graveyard Trespasser is in here as another um, just card that's a pain to deal with and provides me lots of utility and incremental advantages like disrupting the graveyard, blocking. But then if they want to remove it, they're usually going to have to burn 2 removal spells, similar to the Slasher. So we can kind of start to tax the removal in a really serious way, where each of our threats are like requiring either very specific like removal, like if this guy you can make him sacrifice or something, or Slasher to exile. But they have to make very real concessions to play removal like that in the main deck and to play both. And so either way, we're going to be taxing their cards, getting more 2 for 1s, and then they'll be off balance from the discard anyways. And yeah, I've been having a ton of fun with this deck. Um, it's a style of play that I really enjoy, and this deck was debuted at the. Well, I guess it's been around for a little while, but it really had a breakout at the regional championship a couple weeks ago. Um, and then the sideboard I'm still working on. Um, we got cut downs and fatal pushes just for extra 1 mana interaction, and when you need to take out a fast deck like the Rakdos, Leyline, Pump deck, and that kind of a thing. Anoint with Affliction. This is good against unstoppable slasher decks. There's actually a lot of them around right now. So being able to exile the slasher, that's the main reason this is in here. But it's also good against, plenty of other situations. The Broncos, I bring these in on the play in the mirror. And I also bring them in against slower combo decks or control decks. And then Misery Shadow is for like the Cat Oven and other stuff like that. Go Blank is good against a lot of things. Obviously Graveyard, removal, and then it's good against combo and control. Ghost Vacuum, pretty self-explanatory. Graveyard Hate. This deck could get to 6 lands pretty easily, so you'll actually get to use the other side of it. Got the second Bank Buster in the board. I bring these in when I'm in a grindy matchup, but if I'm up against a fast deck, I bring them out. Hearse, we know what that does, graveyard stuff. Path of Peril is my only sweeper. I might want more sweepers in here. And then Ashiok is here. She's good against the Enigmatic Incarnation decks that want to search their libraries, and also another incidental graveyard hate. And then Shield Dread is just, pretty solid card. I bring her in for mid-range battles and sometimes against aggressive decks too. I bring her in a lot. I'm not sure. Like, she might just be good enough for the main deck. The third Invoke Despair is awesome. I bring this in a lot too. And then March Retro Sorrow, another removal spell that can gain you life. And yeah, I mean, I haven't played Pioneer in a long time. I was really like the Amalia combo type stuff. That turned me off. I was not into that meta game. But I played actually the first Grand Prix since Pioneer was a format, back in like 2019 or 2020, I think it was. Um, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I haven't really played the format since then. But I've been watching it, and this deck really pulled me back. I also am pretty close to building Phoenix. I could play Phoenix. I just need to craft a couple Phoenixes. I have 2 already, and then I have most of the other decks. So I might play that at some point too. But this deck is just like so much fun. I don't see any reason to stop. I'm going to be playing this deck for a while. I might try a version of it in standard too. Anyways, yeah, thanks for checking out the deck tech, and feel free to, if you have any questions, anything I didn't cover, go ahead and leave me a comment, ask me a question, and or if you have any feedback about the deck and what your preferred choices are. There's a lot of ways to build the deck right now, so I'm very interested in exploring all of those. But yeah, let's hop into some games. Oh, hey, just a couple of things I wanted to add I forgot in the deck tech. So aside from being from Unstoppable Slasher, being strong in a low resource environment when you've traded off a lot and making the game small, which is something this deck does, is kind of shrinks the game down. Um, I think that one of the reasons this deck has been so successful so far is just leaning on the power of Thoughtseize. So like in Pioneer, this deck is like, okay. So if you look at Eternal formats, look at Legacy, look at um, Modern, Timeless, you see that there's like the interaction is sort of equally distributed in terms of power. So in Timeless, you have Mana Drain, In Modern, you have Counterspell, and in Legacy, you have like Force of Will and those types of things for different types of ways to interact outside of the board. Um, and Thoughtseize is still on par with all of those cards in all of those formats and still sees play there. So it's really strong. And the other thing too, like in those formats, they have better ways to mitigate Thoughtseize, like Veil of Summer. Even Leyline of Sanctity sees a lot of play in Timeless for combo decks. But Veil of Summer is banned, and I don't know if Leyline of Sanctity is legal in the format or not, but nobody plays it either way. So when you're playing Thoughtseize as like one of the best interaction spells of all time, and your opponent is playing like that 3 steps ahead card or whatever, the blue one, like the counter spells, or they're trying to play like Dovin's Veto or No More Lies. Like there's just like discard is disproportionately powerful in this format. There's not there's not even close to being on par interaction in blue. You know, um, like counterspell is probably the closest analog to Thoughtseize in terms of like power level and flexibility, and and counterspell is nowhere near legal in the format. So I just think that and then like I said, without Veil of Summer being around, like it just feels like you're getting away with something by playing all these discard spells, and they're so strong in here, and there's just not a lot of things to police them. You don't get punished for it with Veil of Summer or anything like that. Um, so yeah, that's pretty. I don't know. Yeah, it feels pretty strong in this format. One other thing I wanted to mention is Explorer is slightly different than um, Pioneer in that the only card that's missing in this that's in Pioneer is Urborg, and Urborg does a lot for this mana. So I'm actually playing. I think usually they play like 4 Mutavaults, 2 Field of Ruin. I'm only playing 3 because I don't have Urborg to fix my lands. So I'm playing a little bit more black heavy of a deck to mitigate that. That's really the only major difference between this and what's available to you in Pioneer. And also because of that fact, I cut down to 3 Bloodletters, which might be fine too. I mean, this card's arguably like maybe not. Like, maybe you shouldn't even play this and just play Archfiend of the Dross instead. Um, but because it's more individually powerful, Archfiend is, but this one has more synergy and it has less downside of like you can lose the game. Um, so yeah, and also speaking of Archfiend, I've got 2 Heartless Acts in here because it can win the game instantly. They have an Archfiend out, you remove 3 counters from it, and they die. So yeah, that's just a little bit of some extra explanations for the deck. Yeah, I'm playing 3 Bloodletters because it's triple black and we don't have Urborg. But it's not clear that you should be playing 4 of these either way. There's lots of ways to build this deck. I'm just testing it early on right now. But yeah, just wanted to add that in. And yeah, thanks again for watching the video. And let's hop into some games. Okay, this hand is fine. If we can hit another land, it'll be really good. Otherwise, we got the Bank Buster that we can dirtle around and get there. We got Removal, Disruption. Okay, we're probably against blue-white control, in which case these duresses are going to be great, and this hand is pretty strong. We're not. We're against a humans deck. So we have 2 dead cards in the duresses, and they have Thalia's Lieutenant. I played against this deck yesterday, and it was kind of tough. The Brutal Cathars are kind of annoying to deal with, but I think I got there in 3. Okay. So let's go ahead and play this, and then we'll pass, and then we'll Edict when he tries to play his Thalia's Lieutenant. Okay. And so they have Brutal Cathar, so we don't want to play Unstoppable Slasher. I think... I know a Duress is pretty bad here, but I'm just going to go ahead and Duress again. Make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, they have double Lieutenants. So we're going to Edict again at the end of his turn. Okay, we're able to slow them down a little bit this way. Let's go ahead and put out a Bank Buster. We won't be able to stop them from getting in for damage anymore, though. This turn, they're going to be attacking. When it attacks, power is equal number of creatures you control. Whenever you attack for each opponent, create a 1/1 human attacking. Yeah, that's pretty good, especially since it's going to pump the lieutenant. It's going to get kind of wild pretty fast. I know Adeline is good in Cube. That's how I've heard about this card before, so that's really strong. Ouch. Okay, let's draw a card. Yeah, okay, and that Brutal Cathar, man, that thing is... The name is apt because it locked me out of being able to play creatures this game, which was what I need to stabilize. So Unstoppable Slasher. Whatever creature I'm put down is going to die, and I'm going to get smacked for a huge amount of damage. So I think I'm probably dead either way. But I guess I'll just go ahead and run out my chamber. Because I can't do two things no matter what I do, so... I think I should have played the Mutavault either way there, but... Yeah, this just feels so bad into Brutal Cathar. It's literally brutal. The card name checks out. I'll say that. Name checks out on that one. Okay, we got Adeline. It's not looking good though otherwise. Yeah, and my mana is I'm like 1 mana short of being able to unlock Annex and play a Slasher and drain life. So I think I'm gonna go with the Bloodletter here. Just put a dumb guy on the board that can block, and then Mutavault will be able to block next turn too. We're gonna be really lucky if we can get away with this one. It's not looking good right now. Destroy an enchantment, okay. So pay 3 and remove 2/+1 counters to destroy an enchantment. And that's training, so whenever this creature attacks with a creature with greater power, put +1 counter on it. Okay. Yikes. Nice. That's a big lieutenant right there. Okay, so guess we'll block here and block there. Yeah, the deck just can't really come back from this, especially when I just had to lose a land. So, alright, GG. Alright, game 2 should get a little bit better. I'm going to want all the removal. Path of Peril. I don't have a lot of sweepers in here. Because there's just not that much need for it in the meta, but maybe I should add a couple more to the deck. Definitely, the 2 duresses was, that was pretty brutal. That was not good. I have a lot of cards that are pretty bad against them. So, what else can I bring in? What do I want my plan to be here? Like, what are we trying to do? I'm not a huge fan of Thoughtseize in this matchup, but I also don't have a lot of things that are much better. Invoke Despair is probably fine. Shield Dress probably fine. Bloodletter, not that great. I'll cut at least one of those. The bats are also not good, you know, it's just pretty slow. But I guess they do have a limited amount of like removal, so if I can, on the play, these might be fine. The life link will be a little bit helpful, gain some life back through the air and disrupt their plan. Yeah, I think I need to. The sideboard is still a work in progress here, and this is kind of showing me that I need some help against this deck. I need to come up with a better plan. But yeah, we'll go with this for now. I'll probably want to put another sweeper in here. I think I used to have a Meat Hook Massacre, but I cut that because I just wasn't bringing it in. Okay, play first, and this is a fine hand. Open up with a Thoughtseize. Okay, opponent mulled twice. So that's unfortunate for them. The Thoughtseize is going to be pretty strong against a mull to 5, I would imagine. So there's a wisdom to taking the one job just to disrupt their curve, but this really doesn't do much of anything against me. I'm not that concerned about it. I'm much more concerned about the lieutenant. I'm not concerned about Thalia. I'm just going to take the lieutenant, actually, even though it does give them a turn 1 play, but I don't need to disrupt their curve as much as I just need to make sure that they don't snowball. And I can take like a damage, you know. This card really does nothing on its own, so... Kind of like both of them I don't really care about, so I'm gonna just hold my removal for now. Play the Trespasser. Okay. How can I get punished here? Could I have another Thalia? I'll just take the 2 because I'd like to play Unholy Annex next turn for value. That'd be nice. Alright, this puts us in a pretty good position. I still have 2 removal spells to take care of anything that becomes a threat. Uh-oh. This card's good, right? At the beginning of your end step, put an invitation counter on it, and then if you tap to 2 or more creatures, you draw a card, otherwise you create 1/1. And then once it gets 3 counters, you get an anthem. Okay, okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and get unlock my fatty. And I'm gonna start attacking because I feel like they're gonna be dead pretty soon here. Whereas I still have 18 life and a good blocker. Alright. Anything I want to change being on the draw this time? Path of Peril, Deep Cavern Bat is definitely a non-bow. The bat is a lot worse on the draw, that's for sure. They do have limited means of interaction or like removal, so the bat goes up because of that. I can play around Iganjo with it pretty easily. Maybe I just want this as like a grizzly bear. I can block. Is that better than like Bank Buster, which is pretty much too slow to be of any value ever in this matchup? I think I'm gonna go for that actually. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, this deck I need to work on this deck in terms of setting up for this matchup in particular. Among many other matchups, I'm very new to this format. Just started playing it like a couple days ago. I think I've played like 10 games or so. Okay, this is fine. I like this hand. We can keep up with them early on. I'll take one there. I'll see if I can get something better. Okay, Thalia. I think I just want to keep the board clear. It's kind of weird because either way I'll only be able to take out one because like I could, once Thalia's out I can't Edict on my turn. So I think I just let her go. Oh, okay, Hive, alright, interesting. So now I'm going to push on their turn in case they have a Thalia as lieutenant. Okay, so now I'm going to have to start slogging through all these taxes. Take out Thalia first. Alright, let's Thoughtseize. They have a pretty good hand. I'll take one of the wedding announcements. Yes. Or do I want to just take the officer? Because he can actually cast that. I have to take the wedding announcement because I can deal with one of them, but I can't deal with two. I'm happy to strand, leave that removal spell stranded in their hand right now. It's working out pretty well for me. Okay. We're almost over the hump. I think once we can get to next turn and cast Invoke Despair, we should be pretty good. It's a long ways away from activating Recruitment Officer, so that's not something I need to worry about. I like the tempo of this game so far. We've been able so far to keep them slow. Invoke Despair is going to be good here. They did get to draw a card off the wedding announcement, which is pretty good, but this will give us a pretty big advantage here. Okay. And then next turn I can probably go Trespasser. Yeah, because they have Get Lost, so I'll put Trespasser out. They're not going to want to remove it with Get Lost. And I don't know, Ritual Chamber would be pretty aggressive right now. I don't think I need it, because I'm going to put out the Trespasser. He's going to stabilize the board. And then yeah. And then if they want to use a removal spell on it, then next turn I can drop the chamber for a 6/6, and that would be pretty clear. Board, his hand would hopefully be clear. Get at least the one removal spell out. He could have another one, but he's gonna have to discard to target the Trespasser, and the Trespasser is gonna lock down the board until he does that. So we're in a good spot. Here comes the Mutavault. Alright, so unfortunately this is going to trigger a wedding announcement. But I will go ahead, make this a 2/2. And then I think I'm actually going to block the Mutavault. And explore. I'm fine with like losing a land here, I think, because I have another one in my hand. But I also could just take it out. Oh, Explore has to be a sorcery. Oh, see, I'm just not familiar with a lot of these newer cards, so that was a mistake on my end. I did not realize that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm actually going to play the bat first, and then do the whole make a demon with Mutavault thing, in case they have a removal spell in their hand. I'm going to be depending on the Ritual Chamber to turn the corner of this game. I maybe should have explored first with the bat. I think that's what I'm going to do, though, now. That's going to be good. And then I'll go ahead and attack. Gain even more life this way. So we're draining them pretty fast here. Nice. He got Brutal Cathar. Oh, but it's nighttime, so he doesn't get to exile. It's so good for me. Alright, good game, good game. Yeah, we kind of stumbled through that, but it worked out. Okie doke. Here we go. We're up against a Yorian deck this time. This hand is like, I mean, dude, honestly, I keep hands like this a lot of times with this deck. It's like you just kind of your deck. I mean, we don't really need that much to get going. The deck is kind of designed to play a low resource game and top deck, so I'm actually fine with this type of a hand. Whereas normally, with a lot of decks, I would just automatically mulligan this, but this deck seems to really do fine with a bunch of lands. Okay, up the beanstalk. It's going to be a huge problem. Seeing Yorian, I probably should have mulliganed since I don't have any Duresses or Thought Seizes or anything like that. There's one, but it's a little late. I don't... Yeah, actually, okay, so... what I'm going to do here is... Thought Seize and attack with Mutavault because I don't want to put Unstoppable Slasher out to just die to Leyline Binding. So there's the binding. So we're going to take that. I'm not sure if that's right. I mean, I know the deck is built around Enigmatic Incarnation, so... And Annihilate's presence is going to be really big for them too. But if I can just get this Slasher through and start attacking, that's our plan. So you have blue, black, green, another blue. I think it would be better to put down a Slasher now than to try to disrupt their lands this turn, so let's do that. Because they might have no removal right now. Okay, so they're going to get a 3-mana creature. Oh, they probably have Skyclave Apparition. It's going to be a pretty clean answer to the Slasher. Yeah. Might as well push it now then while I have a chance. I get to keep a little bit of pressure on them with the 3/3. Yeah, maybe I should have played the Trespasser instead of attacking with those guys. I don't know. It's probably more damage over time. Yeah, because they would have been at 14 right now, but it would have been coming through for 6, 10, so they would be at like functionally 4, whereas they're going to be at 5 after this turn if they run it back the same way. But this is probably just gonna kill us. Anyways, when it enters, create a blue ox equal to the number of lands. Whenever you attack, draw a card, then you may put a land from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield. Okay. Alright. Yeah, we're not really getting there. I had a sketchy keep this game, so that's probably what cost me the game. Okay, we got that. Gonna want the Despair for sure. We're gonna want Shield Dread. Do I want Ashiok? I don't know. Definitely go blank. Definitely Caustic Bronco. And definitely do not want Fatal Push. We don't want the Edicts are probably fine. Yeah, I'll want Ashiok too because I want to search with an Enigmatic Incarnation. I don't think they do much with the graveyard to where I need to worry about the hearse or whatever. Bankbuster is a little slow. I feel like if it gets to the late game to the point where the card's going to be generating advantage, then it's probably too late for me anyways. Want all the discard spells. I'm probably going to have to cut some of this removal. Maybe I'll cut the Bankbuster too. I feel like I need to just kind of run this deck over. I'm not going to win like a late game grind. So the Bankbuster goes down, but obviously the removal is not great either, so I got to figure out what I want to do for removal. I don't see creatures with counters on it a lot. I don't think the deck plays Planeswalkers, so I think I'd rather just have a targeted removal than Edict. And then do I want like... Yeah, the last question is just do I want some Bankbusters in here? And thinking no, I think I just want to go hard in the paint, try to run him over, catch him off balance, disrupt him early, and then try to kill him fast instead of playing a dirtily Bankbuster plan. We're not grinding this deck out, most likely. Sure. I really want a Thoughtseize or something, but... I mean, these two cards are just not great here anyways. It's like almost like a mold of 5 already, but I have the Bronco on the play. I'm going to give it a shot. Opponent mold. Because if I can... Even if I don't have... Even if I don't have Thoughtseize, if I can curve Bronco into Annex, that's pretty good. Sure. Okay. Start drawing some cards. And then next turn I'll play the Bloodletter. And we'll put some pressure on him that way. There's the Overlord. It's pretty sick. Dude, I could like... Oh, man. I could invoke Despair next turn if I play a tap land now. Yeah, I think that's going to be better. I think that's going to be better because I can still Annex this turn too. Because if we can start chaining Invoke Despairs next turn, that's going to be crazy. And now I'm drawing 2 cards a turn. I just need to make sure I don't kill myself. Thoughtseize, sure. I mean, you probably take an Invoke, I guess. But I'm sure the opponent's not happy to see this hand. No, they're taking an Invoke, okay. Okay. Okay, so they're gonna get a 6 drop. Yep, yep, yep. Okay. Um. So next turn we got the Mutavault and the Bloodletter. As a between the combination of those two, I should be able to have a demon at the end of my turn. Okay, he's gonna exile one of my annexes. So I would get like, would I get an 8/8? I think I would get an 8/8 back. That's pretty cool. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have removal for old Bonnie Pal over there. So they might get us here. Let's see. I need another land, dude. I feel like I always say that with this deck. I always just need more mana. Because I'm going to need a chump block with Mutavaults. And, but I also would kind of like to Thoughtseize them. But I guess I don't have the luxury of doing that. If they have a removal spell, we're just dead or whatever. Okay. Okay. That's not the worst for us. Once again, I'm one land short. So I guess the line is that I Thoughtseize the Yorion away, and then I either activate Ritual Chamber or Shield Dread. Alright. Just need them to not draw removal here. That's they're probably going to be able to kill me with that one way or another, I guess. Not sure what they'll use, though, to do that. Really good draw there for the opponent. Alright. I think very dim hope of winning now. Oh no, we just lose. Alright, good game. Yeah. Draws didn't really line up that well for us that game, but that's alright. Alright. Let's see how this one goes. This is fine. I definitely, I'm thinking about last game against the Enigmatic Incarnation deck, and I probably, I definitely should have mulliganed game 1 when I saw Yorion, and I had a Fatal Push and like a 3-drop or something like that in my hand and 5 lands. That was probably not a good plan against them. I should know that if they're playing Yorion, that they probably are on that deck. Okay, Rakdos. So this could be any number of Rakdos deck. There's the Transmogrify one I know. There's just like straight up mid-range ones. There's like even Demons decks like this one that are splashing for one thing or another. Took my Bloodletter. Let's see what they got. Skeleton. So yeah, this is gonna be the Transmogrify version, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they have token creation too, a bunch of token creators. So we got to make sure that we keep the board clear so that they can't resolve Transmogrify. That's basically the main idea here. It's kind of annoying because if I take out the skeleton, then they can get a demonic tutor. But if I don't, then they can Transmogrify and pressure me. So I think I'm just supposed to... I'll just do it on their turn. Thanks. Oh yeah, I know that. I know it's my turn. Sometimes you gotta think for a second, you know? It's all good. You'll probably think sometimes too. Oh, I didn't realize I could stack him to draw a card too. Otherwise I would have done that differently. Would have done it on my turn then. Let's see, I'll play Lock Twain. I gotta put the Slasher out and start pressuring him here. I had to get him back. He got me earlier when I was thinking. If they have Transmogrify and they're just like roping me here, that would be kind of funny. No, they don't. But they can get it now to have for next turn. Oh, instead they're going with Obnixilis. Okay. So unfortunately, if they get another land here, they can just search for Transmogrify and cast it next turn. Then I'm pretty dead. Let's put them under pressure, so they're dead next turn unless they can either answer my demon or kill me this turn. Okay, they got the answer for the demon. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. Nothing's happened yet. Oh man, for someone who told me that it's my turn, he's like pretty slow, I will say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 mana. So I can't do all the things I want to do, but I can attack with the slasher. It feels like I'm pretty dead right now, either way. Like, all they really... I don't even know why they didn't search for Transmogrify last turn. Maybe I don't understand this card. Search your library for a card, put it onto your hand, and shuffle. And they're both solved already, right? So I'm not sure why I'm, like, not dead yet. Okay, now I'm dead. He's gonna do it. You can do it. Go. Go, go, go. You can do it. Sacrifice the case to the search stolen skeleton, and then search for Transmogrify, and then cast it. And then I'm dead. Then you'll win for sure. That's all you gotta do. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna drain 4. Yeah, so he's dead unless he has a removal spell, which is weird because I should have lost this game like 1,000 times by now. And I definitely just mistapped my land, so that's a thing. But yeah, okay. We just swing. Okay. I'm not even sure if Atraxa can save him now. Oh boy. I mean, like, he could still win, right? Like, if you just search for Transmogrify. But I guess he's at 4 life now, so probably not. Oh, there it is. Nice. Okay, you got Valgavath. It's not going to be enough because I'm gonna drain you for 4 next turn. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna want Ashiok for sure, and Invoke Despair is good against the Planeswalkers, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of a weird deck to board against because it's like a creature-based combo. I'm gonna probably Trespasser is pretty slow and it gets bogged down on the ground too, so I can cut that. They don't have a lot of graveyard stuff that's that important. I want to keep the. I want to keep all discard. Um, Bankbuster is pretty good here. The game can go slow and like stall out. I think I want Path of Peril too. Maybe I want Shield Dread. I'm not sure. But I think I'm gonna want all the 1 mana removal. Probably a little bit less of the more expensive removal. Maybe I want the Broncos like to put some pressure on early with all my cheap removal spells. I would do that on the play for sure, but I'm not so sure about the draw. And Go Blank is interesting too. It's a little bit less good on the draw. Edict is nice because you can get a Planeswalker with it. Okay, I gotta make cuts fast. Guess I'm gonna cut my 2 mana removal spells. Keep the Edict. Oh yeah, I guess I'll try this. Kind of learning as I go here still, so. This is good. I could use a little bit more pressure, ideally, but curving Thoughtseize into Bat into Ashiok seems pretty good against them. Unless they Thoughtseize me first. Thoughtseize is just a good card, you know? Very good card. Should I give him another year go? Oh, I'm only doing this because they year go'd me first when I was like taking a pretty reasonable, I think, moment to think. Okay, this is a interesting hand that the opponent has kept. Do I want to let them Thoughtseize my Ashiok away? I'm not sure. I'm leaning towards taking the Bankbuster because it's the only thing that really gives them forward velocity, and they have 1 land. I'm going to take that. They can Thoughtseize me again, take my Ashiok. Alright, they took my Thoughtseize instead, that's fine. Play Mutavault, pass. Opponent has no plays. They kept a 1-lander. That was probably not a good idea on their part. Start messing up their deck. Got a bunch of lands. Got a Valgavoth out of there too. That's nice. I don't know how many Valgavoths they play. Probably can't be a bunch. Alright, I'm going to need to start drawing something else. Wait, does this guy have Menace? He does have Menace. So since it has Menace, I guess I might as well attack with my Mutavault. And then, like, I'm dead in 2 hits anyways. This can go to a Planeswalker also, so I'm dead. My Ashiok's dead anyways, so I might as well just get 1 more mill. I might disrupt his deck, you know, like get some of his Transmogrify targets out and stuff. crazy, dude. Could I draw a non-land one time? Alright. So we can bargain, which means sacrifice a permanent, artifact, enchantment, or token. And it'll do 3 damage. So we can take out my hive with torch the tower if I attack. I think that's fine anyways, because like I have almost nothing. Unless I want Takenuma to like maybe get back my bat. Is that better? I think that's better, because I could also maybe hit like another creature that actually does something. It's kind of crazy to just draw nothing but lands pretty much. After keeping a 4-lander or whatever I kept. Okay, Ashiok is unfortunately dead. Got a new Bank Buster. A shiny new Bank Buster over there. I'm going to mill 3 and try to get a card that does stuff. Ashiok can come back. I think I need like a creature though. I'm going to get the Bloodletter. Alright, Thoughtseize is awesome. Here's another Bank Buster. I'll probably just take the Transmogrify, right? Alright, so next turn we can start putting pressure on him. If I make him remove one of my guys, he doesn't get to draw a card with the Bank Buster, so I think that's pretty fine. I'm going to just turn up the screws, turn up the heat here a little bit on him. Attack with the Hive. This one's... I'm not going to attack with both since he can remove both in the same turn. I'm going to try to make him like not be able to cast spells or use Bank Buster each turn, so I'm going to come in one at a time with this. And I'd rather save the Mutavault later. It has more value being a demon than the Hive overall. Oh, nice. That's actually pretty clean with the Fatal Push. I'm not familiar with Torch to Tower yet. I've been playing too many like old formats where that card's not playable, so that was a learning experience for me. I wasn't thinking about it in that way. Okay, so we're gonna cast Invoke Despair. This takes away his tutor, which is pretty nice. And I get to draw a bunch of gas. I'm going to come in with the Mutavault here. Fable. Fatal Push. So this is going to work out pretty nice. Just finally didn't need one more mana, as I always complain about with this deck. I just need one more. Just one more. Not this time. This time I had the perfect amount of mana to do the optimal play. Fable, okay. So he has at least 2 Valgavoths in the deck. Yeah, we got him. Good game. Alright, so for an outro, I was planning to review my stats on Untap with the deck. Unfortunately, I forgot to turn on Untap for that last video, all those games, so those 3 matches are not in here. So that would put it up closer to like 9-4. But right now I'm sitting at 7-3, which is not bad. I mean, I consider, especially since I just started playing this deck in this format, and I was in Diamond from timeless grinding, so I got thrown right into the deep end. And so far the deck is doing pretty good. I've won all the mirror matches, and I can explain why. It's because I usually lose game 1 in the mirror, and I think that's because my deck is not well tuned, and I'm not exactly net decking. I'm kind of mixing and matching some different things and trying some things out. However, games 2 and 3, I bring in Caustic Broncos on the play, but not on the draw. And on the draw, I bring in more removal. And that's basically the single reason why I've been winning those games, because I'm seeing my opponents are bringing in Broncos in both play and draw. And when they're on the draw, it's not good. So I think it's mostly just been my sideboard teching that's been pulling me ahead there. And then, but interesting, this green black deck, this was basically the same deck. It's the Demons deck, but it was playing Mosswood Dread Knights, which was really hard to deal with. Those cards are actually, like, I mean, if you think about it, they trade fine with a Slasher, and they trade with Graveyard Trespasser, and they're just a huge pain to remove, and they provide a ton of value. And so that was tough because of that card. So that is a pretty good indication of that would be good in the mirror. But yeah, you can see here I beat blue white control, green white I played against like an enchantments deck, Aura's deck. I don't know what the other one was. And I can't remember what all of these were exactly. But yeah, so this is some stats to look at. If you had the ones from that set I just did, then it would bring me to like 9-4. And for now, I'm still just kind of exploring the deck. I don't necessarily have suggestions on how to build it or what my big takeaway is or any changes I would recommend right now. But I'm going to keep building the deck and playing the deck, so tune in for more updates on how that goes. And I'm having a ton of fun with this. I hope that this has been a fun video for you to watch as well. Thanks a lot. Take care. We'll catch you next time.